Welcome to the Between Two Wheels podcast. This is Tyler Yonke coming to you for stage 20 with the intro coming up.
Even Chris Froome had no response to Alberto Contador today. For the last couple of years, he's looked a shadow of himself, but Contador has shone on this Vuelta, and finally he takes the stage victory.
It's about how much time Richard Carapaz can take. What is the gap going to be? He crosses it at 2:34. So Primož Roglic now has got 45 seconds to get there. Primož Roglic saves La Vuelta by around 19-20 seconds.
21%, it really is a hurt zone this. Nibali hits it once again. Now can he? Don't forget, he's just got to find 3 seconds here. 4 if he can. Away and Nibali goes once more in the cloud. Oh, it's almost reminiscent of his job on the Giro d'Italia. Out almost the camera, and has Nibali been taken out here as well?
No,
I don't think there was any contact with anybody. It's just gone pop. Here is Horner. What a performance by this man. As we say, 20 years separating the man who's won the stage and the man who quite possibly has just won the Vuelta. 200 metres. This is going to feel like party time. And the grimace turns into a huge grin. And the clock, watch it when he crosses the line, because this is the crucial timings. He gets the bonus as well, don't forget. There is Chris Horner. Has he just done it for the old guard?
And we're muted. Has he done it for the old guard? Yes. We've got the young guard going in here. Stage 19, stage 20 of the Vuelta. Sorry I missed out for stage 19. We're not going to talk much. We're going to show the highlights for that. And I didn't even pull it up here, but and by the way, Pro Cycling stats has been down, so we're not going to really be able to use that one. Vuelta stage 19 highlights. There we go. By the way, stage 19, pretty much what all you need to know for stage 19 is, and we'll go over that. Let's take a look here at the route. This is what happens when you go hang out with your wife for a while, and then you come in and you try to do this in the last minute. Still not showing it. Here, let's try one more time. There we go. There is the route for the Vuelta. As we said, we started up here in Italy, and then we dropped back over here into the northeastern part of Spain, and we moved all the way across, just hitting these mountains over here in the Pyrenees. And then we're down over here, and we are coming into this last section, stage 20, and then tomorrow into Madrid, stage 21, hitting all the climbs, loving this race. Today is going to be, last 2 stages. So let's take a look here at, that's stage 20, but let's take a look at stage 19. There you go, stage 19. There is the profile of pretty much what you would expect on the day. We expected, what did we expect? We expected sprints, okay? And then that's pretty much what we're looking at here. So let's take a look. We'll just recap this. There we go. We'll just recap this here. Stage 20. By the way, we saw this time trial, and we've got, it's good to see JC in the chat here. Oh my God, I can't wait. Well, you're going to have to wait. We're here now. We're going to be here. So last 2 stages, basically, tomorrow they go into Madrid, and it's kind of like a promenade. It's just a whatever. And then the sprinters will, push it up for the last 20 kilometers. And you're going to have Philipsen and Alpecin de Koenig probably going at it again. But because who is the real sprinters here? Well, Philipsen, who crashed out on the tour, got this stage win, and then crashes out in this feed zone, or not in the feed zone, but near that, by Brian Cockard. Remember, if you remember that, he gets crashed out. He doesn't get a chance to finish the tour. He misses the whole entire thing. Comes into the Vuelta, somewhat not quite there, but he is world class. He's one of the best sprinters in the world, and he is above and beyond. You don't really have the competition here. When you have a little bit, and this is the thing with the Vuelta, the Tour of Spain, which is it's a little bit more climby, so you have less sprints And then sometimes you have sprints that you have to get over mountains. And with that in mind, Mads Pedersen is probably your #1 rider in the world for that kind of stuff, being a good sprinter who can still climb just good enough, and not Jesper Philipsen. But Philipsen has been pretty decent in this. Okay, so this stage is fascinating for a few things. It's boring as all get out. However, there's a bit, there's some wind and there's a little bit of choppiness. I mean, you look at the profile here, it's got some ups and downs. It's got just enough where we're going to be, problematic. Otruba goes out here. He's out in the front. For Guijuelo, it's a low end team. Get your name out there, perfectly fine. Cabeza de Carrera, he is the head of the race, and yet you have the teams back here. You have Lotto for Viviani, you have Alpecin de Koenig with Philipsen, and you have Little Trek for Mads Pedersen. They're all doing some work. Plus, you have UAE just interested, and you have Visma, who's interested as well. They got the GC teams, and they're going to do their job as well. There's Javon in the back, Jonas looking fine, Viviani and his Lotto team, they're looking to get in the mix. You got Mads Pedersen, 100K. It's all just, this break is out there. Now, fascinating point of being attentive. They have this bonus sprint here with about 60K. It looks like it's about 57 or so. It's about 60K or so. It's in that range because it breaks up the road. So we're not sure exactly where. But with 57, 60K to go, there's a bonus sprint. It's for the green jersey. The breakaway is taking the first one, but there's a bonus seconds on the line as well. So with this, for some reason, Mads Pedersen, he had said he had already spoken to Jonas. Jonas was going to go for it. He didn't care. Now Jonas had 40 seconds advantage because Almeida took some time back in about 8 or 9 seconds, took back on him on the time trial. It had been 48. Now it's back to 40. And there you go. And the last race going on to today, stage 20, this is yesterday's race. You never know what's going to happen. And it could come down to, seconds. So with that, Jonas decides he's going to take out. And Jorgensen leads him out. And Jonas takes the sprint points. Jonas takes him. Jorgensen gets third because he already got the time with third. So Jonas takes back 4 seconds. I think it was 6, 4, and 2 bonuses. Comes back. That's out of 40 seconds. That's like 10%. That's a pretty good bonus. The race on the day. Otherwise, you always knew it was going to come down to a sprint. Little treks on the front. There's some wind issues. The team sometimes you see some splits. It gets all back together. For the big riders here. Coming into the last 7K, it's all looking good. There's been no protests to really worry about. Plankert's on the front. You've got the whole Alpecin de Koenig team. They're leading this out for Philipsen in just a magical way. Plankert is one of the last to go. He leads out Philipsen. Philipsen kicks about 200 to go. It's not even close. Mads Pedersen tries to come at him in the middle of the road. We got Ben Turner there for Ineos and Allure for Movistar, but it is Mads Pedersen, I think Allure, and Philipsen for the win. Easily done. He's got 3-4 stages now? Philipsen, Pedersen, Allure, Berman, Turner, Merritt, Ethan Vernon for Israel Premier Tech, Gruel, and Labrousse coming in there. And there you go. So coming into today's stage, let's take a look here at the actual profile, because this is a barn burner. And, it's one of these super, super steep climbs that you get in Spain. We've already seen that with the Angliru. We are also now going to see it with the stage. Let's see if we get the actual pronunciation here. Bulbo de Mundo to Puerto de Navacerrado. Okay. And there's the profile today. You got a Cat 3, a Cat 3, a Cat 2, a 1, and then this monster that is the last 3K is really steep. And if you take a look at this, there's the route. It's this finishing here. It's going up this part, and they actually close off the last 1 kilometer. But I think the interactive map actually shows us pretty good here for what we've got. So it starts down here in the southern part. You work your way up. Then you take a left over here and you do this. You hit a Cat 3 over here. You hit this climb. And you come through and you hit the big Cat 1 over here. But you continue down. Then you do a loop. You circle back. You head up the backside of that same climb. And then you take a right-hand turn, and that is where it gets nasty. It's like a concrete road, and that is where the fun all takes place. Okay, so what do we have here? We have, throwing some things out. You have Almeida, 44 seconds behind Jonas Vingegaard going into this final stage. So you have a battle for first and second. Then you have about a 30 or so second difference, about 2.5, 3 minutes back for third place. Jai Hindley's in fourth. He's the Australian riding for Red Bull Bora. Hansgrohe, he's about 30 seconds or so behind Tom Pidcock, the Englishman that rides for Q36.5. So you've got kind of these two battles. Then you've got Pellizzari coming in at, I think, 5th place here. He's a teammate of Jai Hindley, and he is going to be battling it out for the young jersey. It's the youngest one under 26 years of age. The best thing, he and about 58 seconds between him and the American Matthew Riccatello, who rides for Israel Primatech. So we've got a little battle going on there. I assumed this whole time that Riccatello would actually be beating him, but Pellizzari has been riding one for his team, and he's been riding exceptional. Time kind of flipped back on them. Stage 16 16, 7, and then 17, 17, and then 18. He had the time trial. It flipped back again on Riccatello. He took a little bit more time back because 17 was won by actually Pellizzari. And now you've got that. So, but then you have the top 10. Top 10, you're still battling with Jorgensen. He's right at the 10th place with Torsten Troin. But you have Sepp Kuss, who's like in this 8th spot, and he has been riding exceptional, and it will be interesting to see what happens on the day. It was always going to be, even though there's a breakaway that gets up the road, it was always going to be the main GC riders battling it out for today. It's the last day here. There's a decent group that gets up the road. It's Giulio Ciccone in here, which we had high hopes for him on the opening stage. An Italian riding for Little Trek. Then he had Mikel Landa. He's had, remember, crashed out the tour, hurts himself pretty bad. Has a decent chance here. He went head-to-head with Egan Bernal. Egan Bernal took the best of him. Egan Bernal is also in the break. Those are your three that you're really looking at for in this break as it is. The break gets up the road. They're not getting much time, maybe a minute. Plus, there was this protest coming in here in the last 16 or so kilometers. This group tries to protesting the issues in Israel. Once again, I don't know what the Tour, the Vuelta had to do with it, other than there's Israel Primatech, a team that's not even associated with the government. But a lot of protesters, we just give them the benefit of the doubt. But it was done right here near this roundabout. They get out in the middle of the road, but they don't block the road enough because the riders are actually able to go around it. You can see here on the top screen, the riders are coming from they end up going right around this. So it's not a huge deal. There was one movie star rider that got kind of spit out the back. Sean Quinn was up there for EF. He was giving it a shot. But 1:15 with 10 kilometers to go, Giulio Ciccone strikes out. However, Mikel Landa actually gets back up to him. They work a little bit. Jay Vine gets on the front. UAE finally just says, we're not going to put a rider in the break, and we're just going to go all out for you, Jai Almeida. Okay, it's about time. Ayuso does some work, but then it's really Jay Vine coming in here and just plowing him, going into the depths here for the last up to about 3 kilometers to go. Meanwhile, Felix Gall starts coming off the back, having some tough times. He's had a bad, fat last few days in the mountains. Meanwhile, Mikel Landa and Ciccone joined forces, 3.5K to go. They're almost getting caught. Jai Hindley. Pellizzari is already getting spit out the back. Torsten Troin as well. Now at this point, so has Jorgensen, but Pellizzari losing a bunch of time immediately. Meanwhile, Riccatello is staying up there. They hit this last 3K to go. It's this nasty little road, skinny road, not much. That's finally where Jay Vine takes it into, and you start to see the issues here with Almeida. Almeida doesn't have the punch, but he has the diesel. He's not able to stay with Jay Vine just right away as Jay Vine overtakes the two riders. But Jay Vine ends up peeling off. He's not necessary. And you have this last 3 kilometers to go, the main riders. You have Jai Almeida. You have Vingegaard. You have Jai Hindley. You have Tom Pidcock and Sepp Kuss. And this straggling for the last 3 kilometers is going to be Matthew Riccatello. We'll talk about him in a bit. He's just got to hang on as best he can, and he will take over the white jersey for the best young rider. Now, my vision of this immediately, this was my sense, was Riccatello, you're dangling, but you're dangling well. You're going to be just fine, okay? Pellizzari got spit out early. You're going to make this fine. Sepp Kuss is looking extraordinary. It's his 31st birthday today. He's looking good, and I was like, oh, he's riding out of his mind already. Tom Pidcock was having trouble, kept coming off the back wheel. You already saw Almeida having a little bit, and Vingegaard looked just fine. So in case something happened coming in here short, this was already my perception. Now, things change. But Almeida is in the front and 2.3 to go. Jai Hindley says, I've got to throw this down. He's got about 30 seconds or so over Pidcock. He needs to get rid of him. 2.3K to go. If you're going to do it, it's going to happen in this last bit. Let's go. And Jai Hindley hits the front, and everyone is basically holding on. Sepp Kuss is kind of dangling there at the back, but you can see that he's not struggling like Tom Pidcock. He eventually comes around Pidcock and moves up, and then you've got Pidcock dangling back and forth. Jai Hindley has some trouble, but this all just slinkies together. It just is not snapping the cord. Meanwhile, Riccatello is just keeping everybody in sight, and his power and his pedaling is looking good. I'm just like, it's not that he's riding within himself. That's really what it is. And it's just these riders we have here. Once again, then Hindley kind of kicks out again. You have all these switchbacks. Almeida's having trouble. You can see Sepp Kuss. I could just tell he's looking like, should I go around him? But then Almeida closes the gap. Meanwhile, Tom Pidcock closes the gap. Hindley still continuing to kick. However, we come into the last 1.5 or so kilometers to go. On the inside corner is Vingegaard, and he strikes out. And Hindley can't follow. Neither can Jai, I believe. And then you have Hindley, Almeida, Sepp Kuss, and then dangling behind him about 2 bike lengths always is Tom Pidcock. Pidcock would come into the corners, take the shortest way around, which is the steepest, and kind of close the gap each time. I think if Sepp Kuss was up there, he would have been able to follow his teammate today. I just really think that's the way it was, just the way he was riding. Vingegaard immediately just starts to stretch the elastic a bit. Pidcock tries to come back in. Hindley can't really do it. He's trying to keep in with himself. Sepp Kuss immediately is like, Almeida's having some trouble. And he does a great teammate thing here. It's hard to actually see it here, but Sepp Kuss comes around Almeida, and he goes beside Jai Hindley, which essentially with the skinny road here blocks the pathway for Almeida. So if Jai Hindley's going to drop or Sepp's going to drop, Almeida's going to have a tough time coming around. And it's just a team thing to do. It's not snaky at all. And it was something that was just working out. Last kilometer to go. You can see Sepp Kuss has moved himself into second place on the chase. Pidcock, once again, back and forth with Almeida. They're all looking good. Looking back and forth is Jonas Vingegaard. He almost runs into the barriers at one point, comes to the very steep finish, gets himself the win at 3:56.21, and he has to have someone push him over. 12 seconds back, Sepp Kuss comes over the line, beating Jai Hindley, and then who gets a few seconds on Hindley. And then you get Pidcock trying to come over the time. He's 16 seconds back. Almeida around the 22 seconds, and 23 is Riccatello, who had closed up the gap inside the last kilometer to everybody, and then got strung out as Sepp Kuss kind of attacked out of this. Like I said, I think Sepp Kuss, if he had wasn't playing the teammate role, which Jorgensen, Sepp Kuss, Ben Tuttle, Dylan Van Barl, Wilco Kelderman, Campenarts. The whole team is just, they rode for one mission. Vingegaard gets 3 wins. Too many Italian names, says Jordan. Yeah, true. Look, Italians, they ride the bike. 3 wins for Jonas Vingegaard in this race. Not quite the 8 that UAE had, but I think the team-wise, they rode really good. Comments afterwards, Sepp Kuss and Jorgensen said Jorgensen and Vingegaard were really sick. This week 2, they're kind of coming around. I guess Almeida got a little bit of sick here, but let's see if we can go to the overall standings. Do we have them there? We don't. However, here's the attack that we saw with Vingegaard. Here is the little bit of the... Yeah, we'll not care about. This is the protest they're going on here, and the whole route seems to come around. So it wasn't the best lining up for the protest. Then the protest tries to run out and get in this people's way. This one movie star rider. I mean, come on, people. You're not doing us any good thing. Let's see what Matthew Riccatello had to say, and maybe we'll get popped for this. But this is from the Israel Primatech. There we go.
I had to keep some belief. So I'd say I went into the stage like, of course it was a goal. If it didn't happen, it didn't happen. It's been a good Vuelta up until this point anyway. But yeah, I went into the stage like I had nothing to lose. It was a really hard day all day, which I think suited me well. And yeah, I mean, Pellizzari's been super strong all race, and yeah, I mean, I think everything kind of went perfect today. All I had to do was follow the wheels and hang as long as I could, and yeah, I'm happy with how the legs have felt these 3 weeks and this last week in particular, and to finish with the white jersey and 5th overall. I think 5th overall, yeah, 5th overall. And I mean, it's yeah, I couldn't have gone any better today. So.
Okay, that's really horrible with the background noise. But Matthew Riccatello with a great Vuelta. I think what he needs to focus on, give him a few more years. He doesn't have the prowess for the time trials, but he's an exceptional climber. And riding today with the top guys there, you've got Jonas, one of the best in the world ever. Obviously, Almeida climbs like a diesel. Tom Pidcock, Jai Hindley, who's won a Grand Tour now, the Giro, and Sepp Kuss, who's won one as well, and one of the best climbing domestiques in the world. So now you had Jonas wins. Second place is Almeida. He gets another 20 or so seconds on him today. Puts that almost to a minute distance there for the final. Then you've got Tom Pidcock holds in for third place. Jai Hindley comes in at fourth. Fifth place, as we said, with Matthew Riccatello. Sixth place, I'm not quite who was in sixth. Seventh place, though, was Sepp Kuss. 10th place comes in at Jorgensen. You had 3 Americans in the top 10, which is not really something you would have expected. Let's see if they have results on this page. Once again, pro cycling is down, so we don't really get to see that. Let's go to cycling news. We'll at least get to be able to see if they have the results here. Come on, a lot of pictures with nothing here. Where's our results? Okay, that's not helping us. I wanted to break it out. There we go. The Vuelta stages. Man, it's these websites. There we go. Stage 20, and I think that's what we just looked for. Results. There you go. Oh, they try to black them out. Yeah, you gotta pay for this. Okay, well, we're not gonna be able to do that. Cycling. Let's try Cycling Weekly. All right. Let's sorry. We'll share this in here. Okay, there we go. General classification: Zhao, Pidcock, Hindley, Riccatello, Pellizzari. So Pellizzari lost like 220. So he ends up, Riccatello jumped in front of him nicely, but not quite enough for Sepp Kuss to come over the top of that. Felix Gall, even though he lost some time today, comes in at 750. Torsten Tran, who had the red jersey at one point, 948, and Matteo Jorgensen. So you had American in 10th, American in 7th, American in 5th, 3 Americans in the top 10, 3 Visma riders in the top 10. Pidcock, Hindley, different teams, 2 Bora riders coming in at 4th and 5th. You had Bahrain and Decathlon, who Matthew Riccatello will ride for Decathlon next year, so it'll be at least good there. You don't have to worry about him. Look, I was concerned about the Vuelta losing some steam as far as the protests go, and maybe not having the Israel team finish. I don't really care about the Israel team. Once again, they're not state sponsored. It's just the billionaire owner that wants to promote Israel. But I didn't want the American Riccatello to lose out on one of the chances when he's just, it's obviously his best result. top 5 in a Grand Tour. That's amazing. And I just did not want him to miss out on that opportunity. So I wanted to hold that once again. Sepp Kuss, not having the best after the 2023, had a bad 2024 in a sense. I mean, he had one win there on a 3-day stage race. Missed out on the Tour, did not have a good Vuelta, comes back with the top 10, but more importantly, he was riding for his team. He was riding for Jonas. He's been there for Jonas's first win. He's been there in the Vuelta. He's been there for Roglic's first win in the Vuelta. He's had his own first Vuelta. He's been the cornerstone for this team for domestic riding. He's only 31 years old. I think there's more out there for him. I do believe that you're going to see a Jorgensen coming into his own and actually being able to do a top 3 podium in a Grand Tour at some point. He's still fairly young. He's got a good time trial, and I think you just got to work on him for his climbing and being consistent. Jonas Vingegaard being able to come out and do what he did in this race, pretty good. João Almeida in the UAE. João did fine. I just think he could have. It still wouldn't have been. Couldn't drop Vingegaard. Okay, but his team could have ridden, even though he had 8 wins. His team could have rode better for him, and that is a problem. They are so good and so strong. They still did it, and they still were able to make it look not too embarrassing, but at sometimes it was embarrassing. Great to see Jai Hindley, but let's talk about Tom Pidcock. Tom Pidcock comes in there, had been with Ineos, Olympic champion in the mountain bike, good cyclocross rider. And he's won Alpe d'Huez in the Tour de France before, but can he win can he even podium in a top 10 in a Tour de France or in a major, a Grand Tour? Yeah, this time he was fantastic. He had, the race into Balboa that got canceled. He would have had the stage officially won there had it not been for that, pretty sure. And he looked good all the way along. I mean, there are a few days that he would lose just a tad bit of time, but I mean, always looking pretty good. And I was very impressed with him. Impressed with Pidcock. Love to see Jai Hindley coming through. Very impressed with Pellizzari. Good to see Felix Gall coming out there. Torsten Tron totally transformed himself in this race for Bahrain after getting kind of a lucky break, getting into the red jersey. Once again, Sepp Kuss doing good. Riccatello coming good. Jorgensen looks good. I'm very impressed with the top 10 here and glad to see it all. Tomorrow we have a stage coming into Madrid. Not really looking forward to that. It's going to start later. Will we do a recap? Yeah, we'll try to throw it out. It's just going to be a sprint. Who's going to win? It's going to be Philipsen. Philipsen's going to be at the win. Not much of a question about that one. Thanks for joining, everybody. We'll see you next time on the Between Two Wheels podcast with Tyler Yonke. Thank you.